让我们以热烈掌声欢迎司法院院长许宗力为我们主持闭幕式。
Distinguished guests, all session of the 2018 International Conference of Taiwan Constitutional Court is concluded. Now begins the ending ceremony. Please give a big hand to our host of the ending ceremony, President of the Judicial Yuan, Honorable Chief Justice Xu Zongli.
So finally, we come to the real last section of the symposium. So I am really very excited. After the 2-day-long discussion, so I'm sure that everyone here must already be exhausted, not only the participant. I think and all my staff who is in charge of the administrative matters, so thank you. So in order to bring the symposium to end, a formal ceremony is still needed. So please be patient for a few minutes, for I must address closing remarks. So following is the closing remarks. So, Grand Justice, distinguished guests, scholars, experts, ladies, gentlemen, and colleagues, good afternoon or good evening. So, our two-day International Academic Conference, celebrating the 70th anniversary of Taiwan's Constitutional Court, successfully come to its conclusion this afternoon. In this conference, focusing on constitutional courts and the protection of human rights, the Judicial Yuan invited distinguished scholars and experts in Taiwan and from abroad to deliver speeches or present academic articles. In order to facilitate the discussion during the conference, this conference was held in English and English only. The first time in the 70 years of history. So in a sense, it's an unprecedented academic banquet. Protecting individuals' rights enshrined by the Constitution is the focus that has been emphasized and guarded emphatically by our Grand Justice and the Constitutional Court of every state, as they are the guardians for the fundamental law of each state. As the worldwide trend tends to demand more comprehensive and better protection of human rights, the role played by the Constitutional Court of every state should be more emphasized. During this conference, we had the opportunity to listen to the following excellent speeches. Chief Justice Beverly McLachlin delivered a speech titled as 4 Errors of Aboriginal Law in Canada. President of the Constitutional Court of Lithuania, Dr. Zalimas, delivered an article titled as The Development of Constitutional Review and the Human Rights Protection by the Constitutional Court of Lithuania. As President Zalimas was unable to join the conference, and Dr. Chen Yijie was speaking in Dr. Zalimas' stead. So special thanks to Dr. Chen Yijie. And Justice Gonzalez of the Constitutional Court of Mongolia delivered a speech titled as The Role of the Constitutional Court in the Process of Democratic Development in Mongolia. And Professor Tom Ginsburg of University of Chicago Law School delivered a speech titled as The Trump Administration, Democracy, and the American Constitutional Law. And Dr. Andrew Jimczewski of International Institute of Human Rights in Strasbourg and the Middlesex University in London delivered a speech titled as The Role and the Authority of the European Court of Human Rights. These excellent speeches enable us to reflect on the role of Constitution in the development of human rights protection and the separation of powers. These lessons of comparative law are highly valuable. In addition, this conference touched upon 3 topics. First, protecting the rights of the disadvantaged people has never been absent in every generation's quest for the protection of human rights. Second, the right to information privacy is an emerging issue in the field of protecting fundamental rights in this era of information technology. Third, the issues regarding the constitutionality of constitutional amendments, the boundaries for permissible constitutional amendment, and the involving special expertise in the judicial review. For these 3 topics, our Grand Justice made some landmark interpretations. Some examples are interpretation number 719, reviewed the constitutionality of the law requiring the winning tenderer in governmental procurement to employ a minimum percentage of indigenous people. Interpretation number 748 touched upon the question of the constitutionality of same-sex marriage. And the interpretation number 603 reviewed the constitutionality of the law requiring fingerprints for the issuance of personal identification cards. And this interpretation is not mentioned by Professor Liu Dingqi. It's related also to the information privacy. And interpretation number 499 declared that the 5th Constitutional Amendment was unconstitutional on September 15, 1999. These 3 topics were explored in depth by the following 5 academic articles presented at this conference. Professor Zhang Wenzhen presented her article with the title as Constitutional Protection of Sex-Gender Equality, with the focus on Taiwan Constitutional Court's leading cases. Associate Professor Cai Ziwei presented his article with the title as Conflict and the Reconciliation of State Civil Law and the Indigenous Legal Traditions, Case of Land Governance. William Stamps Farish, Professor of Law of the University of Texas at Austin, Richard Abbott, presented his article with the title as The Judicial Role in Constitutional Amendment and Dismemberment. This term I heard for the first time. Associate Professor Liu Dingqi presented his article with the title as The Past, Present, and the Future of the Right to Information Privacy as Comparative Law Perspective. Assistant Professor Ong Yihong presented his paper titled as The Right to be Forgotten. Forget about it. These academic speeches and articles discussed the prospects of constitutional protection of human rights, fundamental rights, and the role played by Constitutional Court in the process of constitutional amendment, providing us with many important insights. This conference was further enriched by the participation by distinguished discussants, including Dr. Lin Chaojun, Dr. Liao Hute, Dr. Su Yantu, Dr. Liu Jingyi, and Dr. Qiu Wenzhong. The discussion provided us with excellent viewpoints, insightful comments, and many opportunities for thinking and deliberation. Thanks also go to Dr. Chen Yujie, who serves as the interpreter for the Q&A, and I just sent her a task to translation. So, and made possible the successful interaction at this international academic conference. So the valuable results of this conference will be carefully considered by our grand justices in constitutional interpretation. So last but not least, I thank all the grand justices chairing or participating in the sessions, all the distinguished guests who come from abroad, all the distinguished presenters, discussants, and all participants and colleagues. I wish you all good health and a safe journey home. So, thank you.
谢谢许院长的致辞。Thank you, President Xi, for the ending remarks. 感谢各位来宾热忱的参与释宪70周年的司法院大法官107年度国际学术研讨会。2天的议程到此圆满结束，请各位来宾依序离场。离开时并请记得随身携带的物品。各位来宾请将出席证放置于桌上。学员并请至地下1楼搭乘接驳车至芝山捷运站。各位珍重再见。
Thank you all for attending the 2018 International Conference of Taiwan Constitutional Court for the 70th anniversary of the constitutional interpretation. The two-day conference has come to a great end. Farewell.